algorithm in data warehouse testing. So we assume that among these improvements, why did they improve? In order to solve a challenge. So we extract this challenge. Some articles, they didn't have any, neither tools, nor challenges, nor techniques for data warehouse testing. So that's why we excluded. We had to go for the full text.
And to place that in the information extraction.
You are answering that, but that's not my question.
Yes, but I think we must give the others possibility for questions
I have
too.
one more, just one more.
Yes, but I think you have taken already more than you
can
can.
continue. Thank you. Sorry for the all the best.
Yeah, question?
Maybe you can tell a few important challenges, because we haven't seen any challenges, although you mentioned numbers and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are the main challenges?
The main challenges were actually related to, first of all, as you can see the numbers, the testing data. Okay, these, I'm just giving you an example. This was the main challenge, and if you check over here as well, usability in using real data, testing data related challenges were mentioned in all three categories as well. The problem is this: for example, if you are using the real data, first of all, there are conditions like organizations cannot use real data if it is related to some, like, take the example of Project Kasan. It uses your salaries information, it uses your how many times you visited the hospital. All of these are confidential data. You cannot use this real data for testing purpose. Second thing is this: real data might not be enough, it might not be rich. A person who is an expert and sitting at the data source organization, he might be putting really correct data, and he gives you the real data which is very lacking scenarios. And then again, after 10 years or 20 years, some other person comes over there at the data source organization and he enters some incorrect data inside it. And later we come up with new scenarios. So that's why it is not necessary that the real data contains all of the necessary required scenarios for testing purpose. Another thing was this: testing data, as I have mentioned, that it's not enough. It's not enough, it's not large enough. You cannot, if you are performing system testing or production testing, which is to be considered in live environment, you need huge amount of test data which is equivalent to the production size. And production size can vary from 100 terabytes to even petabytes. You cannot produce this much data. No tools are right now available to produce this much amount of test data. Secondly, there is a problem in the statistical nature of the testing data. Sometimes there are some tables have very high amount of test data. There are other tables which have very low amount of test data. Sometimes there are transactions that are presented in the system in the testing data, but their equivalent customers who made the transactions, they are not present in the tables. So there are so many issues related to the testing data, and it was faced by everyone. Then there are problems when you are creating queries, like prediction of queries. We placed it over prediction of queries, yeah. Performance issues with query design and duration prediction. You write a query, it is not necessary that a query that is working on few megabytes of data, it will work perfectly, and in high performance environment it will work the same. So this was also an issue that was presented by the people. Test cases were too huge, unlimited amount of test cases were there. What to use for effective testing? What scenarios to be used for effective testing? This was also issue presented over here.
Okay, and also there is another somehow people consider it as important, and because we found it in different places, which is the data. Which was the data tracking. The bad source data source quality. Which are like the problem sometimes, because data warehouses are like consistent. Let me just go back to the figure. Okay, here. Because normally these are the data source. These are where the data come from. It comes from different places. It can come from different departments or even different organizations. So the problem when sometimes here we found a problem in the report or in the results, and sometimes we don't know if the problem was during the integration phase here, or because it's bad data quality problems came from the sources, and it's really hard. Sometimes it's really hard to know or to track these, because sometimes these data sources are located in different organizations, so we have to take a permission or reach to some agreement. Okay, we have we believe that the problem came from you. They say no, that's not from us. It's impossible. Our data is clean and perfect. So this is another kind of challenge. And yeah, I don't know. Is that enough? Okay.
Further questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a question to you. I mean, personally, what were the challenges to yourself? What was hard for you for doing this thesis, and what is the contribution for yourself that after completing this you say it was interesting performing this thesis because I learned this or I learned that?
Well, I guess all of the theses, there are many challenges. First of all, the systematic literature review. It was very challenging to go for all to make sure that we first of all to select the amount of number of databases. Our 8 databases are enough, or we need to add more, or they are too much. Taking the search strings, applying them. There are many databases which were not working. Each database, they have different number of using stars, for example, in the search strings. Some of them they allow, some of them they doesn't allow. Some of the databases, I guess the ACM, the ACM was not working till the end of the thesis, and then in the end they have fixed it, and we went to the librarians to ask them, please do something to tell them or something like that. This is in the SLR, and it took a lot of time, took a lot of effort, and a lot of reading. This is the main challenge. I guess most of the people who do the SLR do the same thing. And the interviews, we have done most of the interviews, including in the time of it was summer vacations, and most of them they say, okay, we are coming. Oh no, we are traveling. Oh, we are at vacation. Oh, okay. So we don't have deadline for traveling, but we do have deadline. So this is some of the challenge.
And we learned.
Now what we learned a lot. Before I conduct this thesis, I almost know nothing about the data warehouses. I mean, I used to hear. I mean, Shahan, he actually proposed this idea, and I said, okay, let's go for it. So I learned a lot about data warehouses and the difficulties of data warehouses. And many terms, many stuff I didn't know before.
And we learned team management as well.
Yeah,
we
know how to manage fight management system. I mean, I guess it's a good project, fight management system. Yeah. Johannes?
Yeah, a question about the case study at Försäkringskassan. That being a Swedish company with, the people there speak mostly Swedish and the documents are in Swedish as well. Was the language barrier an impact? Might I miss something because most of the documents were in Swedish? Did you have a translator or did you use Google Translate?
This was something that we mentioned in validity threat as well. We consider that this process is called triangulation. It's studying different data from different perspectives, like we can check bug reports as well. But then we found that they were not using any kind of defect management tools. We wanted to check the documents, like requirements or design documents. We found that all of the design documents were in Swedish. So the only reason left was to conduct interviews with different roles so that we can get some true picture, like what exactly is happening rather than getting some biased picture. We contacted their clients, we contacted the customer, the requirements analyst teams, system analysts. We conducted an interview with the tester as well as the database architect. So these different perspectives gave us one consolidated you can say picture of the process, and this we confirmed from the different manager, the manager who was in charge of the data warehouse project, just to see if this is correct or wrong. But yes, we agree that this was a validity threat to our study.
I think we have to close down now. Time is up and the next group is eager to present, so thanks a lot. So there's only 4 minutes left for the next one, so